Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another devotional. Today we're going to crack on with Colossians chapter 1 and we're going to be looking at verse 10. It's good to be back with you, by the way. I was away for a week, just trying to rest really, but it's good to be back. So let's turn to Colossians chapter 1 verse 10. That you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing him, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God. And just remembering that this is part of Paul's prayer for these Colossian believers. And let's just read again verse 9 to remind ourselves. For this reason we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to ask that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. And that was Paul's desire, that these believers would grow in the knowledge of Christ, that they would grow in spiritual understanding, that they grow in wisdom. And we're not just talking about wisdom in terms of knowledge, being knowledgeable, but actually it's knowing what to do with knowledge and how to live that out wisely. And so Paul really begins to talk about the connection between the knowledge of God, knowing who he is, and how that affects the way that we walk, the way that we live our lives. And he says that the prayer is that you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing him. And so we can see here, as he's talking about walking, he's talking about living out what you believe, what you know about God, that you know he's righteous, that you know he's holy, that you know he's gracious, that you know he's merciful. And you know what he's done for you through his son, Jesus Christ. So he says, walk worthy of that. You know, we can walk worthy of that name, of carrying the name of Christ, of representing Christ. But we can also choose to walk an unworthy path where our lives do not line up with the confession of our mouth. And so Paul prays that we might walk worthy, that we might represent Christ in a worthy manner, through our attitudes, through our actions, through our words, through the way we conduct ourselves, that we might be fully pleasing to him. And how do we become fully pleasing to him? As we walk out our lives in obedience. And please don't misunderstand. I'm not talking about, trying to win God's favor all of the time by the works that we produce. No, we live this way. We want to live this way, pleasing to him, because we've already been accepted. We've already been and experienced God's love for us. We've already experienced and received his salvation. And so the fitting response to that is that we live in a way that's worthy of his name of Christ. Being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God. And again, being fruitful in every good work. And this is the fruit, this is the evidence that we are walking worthy of the Lord. As we walk in obedience, that we become fruitful, that the world will see that there is a difference, a real difference, not just in what we say, but the way that we live. And he says, as we increasing in the knowledge of God, and that's what we should do. We can never come to a point where we say we fully understand God. We need to grow in the knowledge of who he is. And let me tell you something I've found out. There's a lot of things that I thought about God, and I thought God was like, that I realized later on down this walk, on this path that we walk, that were not necessarily accurate. And God is always revealing something of himself, something deeper, that we get to know him as we seek him, as we seek to walk in fellowship with him. We grow in the knowledge of him. And don't be surprised if you realize that some of the conclusions that you came to about him were not necessarily right. But as we grow in the knowledge of him, again, it's not just about gaining an intellectual knowledge. As we grow in the knowledge of him, we grow in the likeness of him as his Spirit works in our lives so that we might walk worthy of him. And so again, I'll leave this with you today. If you're going to seek that knowledge, and it's a good prayer to pray, isn't it? Lord, I want to know you in a deeper way. And as I do, I want to walk in a way that is worthy of you. Help me, Lord. Reveal yourself to me, in me, and through me. So have a blessed day. I'll see you soon.